Yes. It's the first GM vehicle we've ever driven that does lane centering without Super Cruise and without pre-mapped roads.
About time.
Hallelujah. Oh, you can buy this thing now. Yeah, you do this, just put a little torque in. Holy smokes, this is a day I've been waiting for 7 years. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. All right, so now I've taken over.
Jesus.
Oh wait, sorry, I went the wrong way. Let's go this way again. You know, in that stupid ass trash can Cybertruck, I just go like this. The future versus the past. That's all I'm saying. Oh, something's buzzing. Oh, it does have a launch.
Yep, it has launch mode.
And no torque steer.
Nice.
So they fixed torque steer, they fixed the lane centering, they got launch mode.
Yeah.
Vistic. Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Ionna, InfyPower, and Eaton. Ionna, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Ionna is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave. Also, InfyPower, the largest EV charger module provider with over 3 million power modules running reliably worldwide. Their latest G2 collection features ultra-high power density and efficiency for EV charging and energy storage integration. InfyPower, innovation for your power. And Eaton. Eaton is a one-stop shop for implementing reliable and innovative EV charging infrastructure at your site. Across all applications, Eaton's EV charging infrastructure, hardware, and software gives you the scalability, flexibility, and intelligence you need to charge today and scale up tomorrow. Learn more at eaton.com/EVCI. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me at my local Cadillac dealership here in Fort Collins, Colorado with Tijmen behind the camera. What's up, dude?
Hello.
Hello. This is the new Cadillac Vistiq, and it is a 3-row electric luxury SUV. Now, doesn't Cadillac already make one of those? Yes, but that's the big boy Escalade. This is actually built on the same platform as this, which is its younger brother or smaller brother, the Cadillac Lyriq. However, it is stretched and it's got 3 rows and tons of tech and tons of kit, and it's totally different than I thought it was going to be. So in this video, I'm going to take you on my first tour and initial drive of the Cadillac Vistiq 3-row electric SUV that kind of competes perfectly with like Volvo EX90, Rivian R1S, VinFast VF9, because it's funny whenever I bring that up, and Kia EV9 actually. So let's go figure out what the heck the Vistiq is all about. Well, Tijmen, of course, we have to say a huge thank you to Dellenbach Cadillac here in Fort Collins, Colorado for being so cool and letting us come and film the Vistiq quickly. But I wanted to start here, which is a car we don't talk about on the channel enough. This is the Lyriq, and there are some incredible lease deals on these things right now. And after the initial bugginess from the early days of this car, they kind of have it dialed in and sorted. So I think we need to get one of these in at the office and run it through, because they've done manufacturing changes, just small little updates, and this thing has been getting over-the-air updates like crazy recently, improving charging performance, motor control. Like, seems like GM's kind of getting it, dude.
Sweet, finally.
I know, it took long enough, but I think we're kind of like there. And there are so many new General Motors electric vehicle models that it's going to take a while to catch up and get through all of them, through all the testing.
Yeah, I think I mean, there's 3 right here we haven't really done any testing with. Then Chevy's Blazers.
Yeah.
And then what else is there?
Yeah, you just did the Blazer SS in North Carolina. We've never run any of these in like our standardized testing yet.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so this platform, wheelbase, everything, surprisingly, is identical to this. Look at the size difference though. Totally different cars. And I'll actually show you under the hood. You can see where they kind of just stretched the styling of the body around that existing platform to make this bigger. Wheelbase is identical, but this thing kind of starts right around where the Lyriq tops off in terms of price, but also space. This is absolutely way more usable. However, you can go full send with Cadillac, dude. We're talking well over $100,000.
Yeah, worth the money.
This is sick. I mean, no question, we are big Escalade IQ fans on this channel because it is the embodiment of the American land yacht. This thing weighs over 9,000 pounds, is 217 kilowatt hours usable. It's absolutely insane in every possibly great way. But it's not a realist, like this is, you kind of buy this if you're balling out, you know?
Right.
This is not like a realistic, let's be somewhat budget conscious. This is just full send nation.
Yeah, this is like, I want big and a boat, and I might as well get an EV.
So the Vistiq is actually a little bit more of the sensible 3-row choice. It's significantly smaller than the Escalade, but I would actually argue interior space isn't all that different. And we're not going to do a full comparison here. I am just going to focus on the Vistiq in this video, but I wanted everyone to understand where this slots. In terms of price though, Tijmen, this is where things get interesting. This starts at about $80,000.
That seems high.
Seems high. And what did we really need in our market? Another $80,000 to $100,000 3-row electric SUV. Everyone's been asking for another one. But here we are, and we have one. So it's got to be really good to justify that price point, because we're coming into the age where there's choice in the electric vehicle world. There is the Volvo EX90, which is a fantastic, great quality electric SUV with buggy software, might add. And we have one of those coming soon.
Aesthetically, way more pleasing.
I agree. I think this looks good. It's got the new Cadillac stuff. I'm kind of into the new Cadillac design language, but I just think the Volvo has a better image to it.
Yep.
The Kia EV9 certainly is a little bit less expensive on the lower trims, but you can get an EV9 in GT line and soon to be GT for 75, 80 grand. So
but
it's
then
not far off.
Get an R1S.
That's the thing. Then you just get an R1S and you go, wow, actually a company that cares about software and user experience. However, I think this is going to be kind of an interesting choice because it is luxurious in the sense, and this is actually a base one, Tijmen.
Huh, it looks actually pretty good for base.
This is 80 grand. So you can go another 20,000 above this with like a platinum with 23-inch wheels and all of the bells and whistles, night vision. If you get the top spec, they even put bigger brakes on it for some reason. It's not like a performance model, but it's just extra luxury comes with bigger brakes.
Perfect.
Don't know why, but they just threw more stuff at it. But underneath, the wheelbase is identical to the Lyriq. This has optional rear steer though, which you can't get on this car.
Worth every penny.
Yeah, so that's when you got to step above everything. And so I'll leave everyone to go on the configurator online to spec out their Vistiqs in the way they want it. But if you come around back, I can show you kind of the styling because it is very similar to the Escalade back here in the overall large sense of the split rear taillights. So you've got these units, which really does look kind of like this.
Yeah, they look identical, just a little bit longer on the IQ.
Now, keep in mind, they do have an IQ-L, which is just like 4 inches longer and has a squared back.
Huh.
But I think this looks better than the slopey Escalade.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is like a great looking vehicle. And also to keep in mind, Tijmen, those are not going to work in Europe.
Way too big, just in general.
Big. So in terms of a global offering, think China, think Europe, think Middle East, where Cadillac's also probably going to sell this vehicle.
Right.
This is going to be the global 3-row offering. To show you into the back, you just hit the Cadillac badge, and surprisingly big.
Wow, yeah, that is.
It is plenty of space back here, and you know we'll get the the impression from the first, second, and third row area. But pretty nice underfloor storage, enough to fit, some carpeted mats. Dude, that is the chunkiest tow hook I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is so
That's
big.
a weapon.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, they know their cars are heavy. Dude, if it looks like this and this, what does the Escalade one look like?
3 times its size.
Just absolutely massive. All right, so we are going to Velcro that down tight because this thing doesn't know what's coming for it. Because I also want to add, not only is this the same platform of the Lyriq, but stretched. They added more power than the Lyriq.
Huh. So how much power does this make?
I will let you know when I remember the number. But it has 900 Newton meters of torque. Why anyone thinks in Newton meters, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is America.
This is America, but that's how they badged them. And they wanted to go bigger numbers. So that's 1,000, this is 900, but the normal Lyriq is 600. All-wheel drive. Dual motor all-wheel drive is standard. This is somewhere in the mid 600 horsepower region, Tijmen, so it's very similar to Lyriq V or Blazer SS.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
Everyone here at Dellenbach who's driven it, they're like, dude, this thing's a rocket ship.
We'll see.
That's kind of funny that they're not doing different power levels. They're just like, if we're putting the motors in there, we're just dialing them to 11.
Oh yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Exactly.
Especially as this is a global vehicle, it's got to go up against the Chinese electric SUVs, which are just all the power, all the tech, all the luxury. And
yeah, this is just missing charging for that.
it does the same thing the Optic, which is the smaller Cadillac, has with this sort of baked in the glass design. Fine. And let's just show you into the rear. So the rear door does not open 90 degrees. I would actually argue it doesn't open enough.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty small entrance.
That's a small opening. But the door card's kind of cool. This one's spec'd with the black interior. You can get black, sort of gray, or this brown in the top spec. That looks really nice as well. I mean, everything feels pretty good. In general, Cadillac interiors, unless you step up to like an Escalade or Celestiq, everything you look at's kind of, that looks like metal is actually plastic. Dude, how cool would it be to have a Celestiq?
Yeah, that would be cool.
That is a baller car. Absolutely love that. So what I'm gonna do is actually do the first, second, and third row test. So I'm gonna pull it, I don't know, let's move this Lyriq out of the way and we'll go through the entire interior of this car. I'll hit you with the specs as well, Tijmen, so I can get you the exact horsepower number.
There we go.
We were just driving by and this was here. We're like, oh, we gotta stop in and film this thing. But I do wanna show you, before we do any of that, under the hood. Okay, it's a double pull, so no latch. And this is where you see engineering excellence.
Oh.
They could have easily put a front trunk in here.
Well, I just don't understand why no one covers this up.
It's so
ugly.
It's so ugly. Now there's some cool stuff happening here. They have a heat pump with heat scavenging, just like the rest of the, you know, GM stuff. Like, it's fairly efficient, but nothing like pushing the limits. And their plumbing and wiring is just messy.
Yeah, and it looks like there's two bits right there that you can put something on to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just an open bracket.
Yeah, it seems like there should just be something covering it, even if it doesn't have a front.
Well, and you're totally right, Tijmen, because look, we've got these here, we've got that there, we've got plenty of other places you could snap in, sort of even a shallow but deep front trunk.
Does a higher trim have covering up?
We have seen that with some cars, right? Like the Dodge Charger offers a front trunk, but I don't think so. There was no indication on the configurator site. Now, we haven't gone to the press launch for this car. We haven't talked to the engineers about it because this is what GM does. They bring them to dealers before they let people review them.
Makes no sense.
Which is so dumb, which is why we're here. But you can see easily this is where the difference between the Lyriq and this is. They just put the metal up. So like the Lyriq hood ends here basically, and this is just, you know, just the stylized body goes around, which it's kind of the old school way of building cars. Like this is, you know, like how old body on frame stuff would just be, and then you would style everything on top of it.
I mean, it makes sense. Makes it
Seems
easier.
to work. There's no real downside to it other than you're just not taking advantage of the space efficiency.
Yep.
Which to me, that's crazy that there's no front trunk here. So, you know, I'm going, this thing starts at $80,000. For that kind of money, I would want to see some more care, more thought. Well,
not even front trunk for $80,000, just to cover all that stuff in there so you don't have to see it.
Yeah, but there's so much room here. They could have, you could easily have, I would have been fine with like a shallow but deep tray.
Right.
And I bet someone will sell an accessory as I'm being attacked by a bee. Oh my God, let me get out of here. All right, Tijmen, let's move some cars around. And then we can go through the first, second, third row charge port real quick. This is, should we tell everyone the battery specs? There we go. Third tries the charm. That's also annoying, but it is powered, which sometimes is good, sometimes isn't. I don't like how it opens this way when the charging cable has to come from here.
It should go the opposite way.
Because this is, you know, sort of a front. So let me close this up so we stop ruining people's day. There we go. Just pretend it has a front trunk. Got medevac going overhead over here. I'll talk charging in a second. They're putting summer tires on my Model S. I forgot to give them the key and I got to remote start it for them, something you can't do with this car. Well, Tijmen, we have got the Model S started for them remotely. That is the best feature of any car.
I agree.
That's just like, we have so many people moving cars around and stuff. It's great just to go start and then they can take it.
Right.
Back to this, which doesn't support that technology. Why is this a brand new car launching in 2020? Is it a 5 or a 6? 2026 without NACS.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. When's GM going to support NACS? You were just with the engineers. Did they tell you?
No.
Okay, that's weird. So that's a big question mark for me. Okay, so normally you get a 48 amp onboard charger, but you can option a 80 amp 19.2 kilowatt charger, onboard charger, which would be great for very few use cases, but if you have like a long commute and you want to charge up quickly, you can spec that.
Right. I mean, it doesn't really make that big of a difference.
Yeah, with a battery pack this size, which is, they claim 102 kilowatt hours, which probably you'll get like 108, 110 out of it, because GM always underestimates their usable capacity. I think you'll be full every morning on this. And they recommend an 80% daily charging limit. I don't think you need the higher power onboard charger unless you're a super nerd that, like, for whatever reason has a unique use case where you need 80 amp charging.
Right.
However, it does also support bidirectional charging, which is super cool.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So you can get the GM home system, which I've done a full video on before, and this can power your house and vice versa. The problem is it does DC out to your house, so it's a really expensive home unit versus like what Tesla does with the Cybertruck. That's what I put in my house, was just a much less expensive gateway, and then my truck can directly power the AC to my house, which was really nice. But let's talk DC charging performance. So I mentioned it's just over 100 kilowatt hour pack, which does seem a bit small in something of this size, because GM has always been about battery size per dollar. I mean, Optic having almost 90 kilowatt hours usable in that little tiny thing. This is only a little bit more. I actually think this is not going to do that well on range. They claim about 300 miles in the EPA cycle. However, I think in our highway test, this is going to be mid to lowish 200s.
Probably like 250 to 270 maybe.
Yeah, if it does more than 270, I would be surprised. But definitely something we'll test out as soon as possible. In terms of the DC charging performance, there's just been some updates for this battery pack that make it charge a little bit better. Charge port, really not that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, honestly.
And it was a nice close action, way better than Lyric that like boing swings up. It's really bad. 190-ish kilowatts, 185, 190. And it just does the weird GM charging stuff. I haven't tested one after the new software that should stabilize it out, should help in cold weather charging, but it also supports on-route battery preconditioning and manual preconditioning, which are welcome additions and welcome functions of the General Motors software platform. And I just wish, like, for 80 grand, it would charge better. Volvo EX90 charges at 250 kilowatts. I mean, most realistically, it's going to be like 220, 230, because you need more than 600 amps to do that, asterisk. But that's still a 400 volt architecture that can charge, 60 kilowatt higher advertised peak than this. That's a big difference. And EV9 sitting at over 200 kilowatts for way less money.
Yeah, I think any car coming out in 2025 plus should be at least 250.
Yeah, 250 kilowatts. If a little Model 3 battery can do it, and Tesla's not great with charging, keep in mind it is all about the curve and area under the curve, and this should have a pretty fat, juicy curve, but you're not talking 5-10 minute top-ups in this. You're talking 25, 35, 40-minute top-ups at charging stops, which just isn't pushing technology as far as we need to go. Look at what the Chinese are doing. Look at what Europeans are doing, and this is just, not great. And that is a limitation of using the Lyric 12 module battery pack. I really wish they would have put in, Escalade battery or something juicy in this. I think it would have been amazing, Tijmen. I also just want to mention that battery capacity, because of that Lyric limitation, that, sort of Blazer Lyric sister car here. That 100 kilowatt hours is probably fine for most people most of the time. But if you look at the competition, Volvo's got another 10 kilowatt hours on this or so. VinFast has another 20 kilowatt hours over this, and the VF9, which is a direct competitor to this car, same pricing category, and that has dog mode, and this doesn't.
Of course.
Can you believe I keep bringing up the VF9?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I know. What the heck is going on in Vietnam? Although it sounds like maybe we won't get I don't know what the tariffs are going to do to them. Maybe nothing. We'll see. Really nice door handle action. They are, actually pretty similar to Tesla door handles, I guess.
Yeah, they look the same, so I guess once it closes, you can do the thumb in,
camera,
and then out.
Feels nice. It's a nice firm action. Like, I feel like I can rip on these and it doesn't feel cheap, so that's good. It is plastic. This door just doesn't open far enough. That is a real shock.
At least 10 degrees too closed.
Yeah, and most automakers now are adopting 90-degree doors. Cybertruck has it. I can't figure out for the life of me why. I mean, they're just running into a clearance issue here in the B-pillar, but the mounting should be totally different. I'm going to try the third row first, Tijmen. So let's go to the trunk, slap the Cadillac badge, Vistiq. Everything with Cadillac has to end in ick. Escalade ick. Okay, can we raise? Well, first of all, I think I can raise them right here. Oh, that one got stuck, didn't it? So that's up. That's quick. Oh, that went, but I had to hit it a couple times. Nice. And then boom, boom. Keep in mind, this is the base Vistic optioned with the captain's chairs. You can get a 7-passenger version with a bench across. So to jump into the third row, I'm going to hit that button. That is a really nice action.
Yeah, that was quite nice.
For being a manual, non-powered seat, that was sprung perfectly. Actually, if you just peek the camera in there really quick, you can see how low the seats are to the floor. So I imagine my knees are going to be in my face is what I'm feeling the impression to be. But I'm looking forward to jumping back there. I'm also seeing a nice air vent situation, Tijmen. All right, here I go.
Well, not too bad.
Okay, that worked out really nice. I've got USB-C port and direct air vent for the third row. This is a great place for the air vent, actually. I like that a lot. Cup holders on both sides. We have a little phone holder. Quality.
No creaking.
Look at the flex in this, dude. Can you all see this? It's the thinnest plastic imaginable.
It surprisingly doesn't creak that much for that being that thin.
Totally agree. Totally agree. You do get that GM-ness in here. We've got speakers back here with plastic grills, not metal. And I'm going to pull this seat back and easily can sit here. However, I can tell that the seat is not pushed all the way back.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a tight fit if I were to sit.
Why don't you see what you can, if you can slide this seat back at all? Is there a way? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bring it on back. Okay. So it's no lucid gravity back here. Oh, lucid gravity starts at like 80 grand, doesn't it, Tijmen?
Yeah.
For a base gravity.
Wow. This is.
Oh, man. Okay. So just in terms of packaging, it's so narrow back here because they have all like the big suspension stuff here, I imagine. And so I'm just sitting squished in.
Yeah. Your knees are into the seat.
Got to start my Model S again. Hello, this is Kyle. Hey. Yeah, I'll start it up for you. Thanks. Oh, done with it already. How about that? I'll just leave that in the video because it's such a great feature that I can just hit start. GM, come on. Also, dog mode, General Motors, let's go. All right, dude, this is nice though. I do have a nice glass roof up here with a covering that is removable. So this is a really nice feature. Love that. And, for kids in the third row, this is going to be more than fine. I just can't believe how narrow it is back here.
Yeah, I think like it's fine for one person our size that's 6 foot, but 2 people 6 foot, it would be very tight.
Yeah, totally agree. So definitely like if you need third row, go Escalade without the executive rear seats,
right,
which you can't get in the third row with those. But I think this is going to be fine for kids. And I can't tell if there's the car seat ISOFIX points. I'm not feeling them back here. They've got to have them for the second row.
Yeah, they're up here. You can definitely feel them.
But you can't just snap in the baby seat here unless I'm missing, but I'm not feeling them. All right, so to exit this, I've got a button on the back of the seat I'm going to hit. Dude, nothing happened. I'm going to hit it. Am I stuck? You got to like third time's the charm. 3 times for the charge port, 3 times for this button.
Yeah, as long as it works.
On the third try, hopefully. But that seems a little bit weird, doesn't it, on a brand new car? Now, can I squeeze myself out of here? Oh, yes. Second row seat time. So, locked back. Then I'm going to do what Tijmen did. Put this one back. And again, I'm 6'1" or 1.86 m, I should always mention. Great headroom for the second row. No issues here at all. Huge glass roof, which we're going to open up when we drive it as well. And got lock and unlock, which is nice. This is perfectly fine. It's not huge. It's not particularly spacious. It's certainly not class leading when you think about Gravity, or even EV9 feels bigger than this.
Yeah.
But it's got a screen back here, I think, which we'll definitely take a look at. I've got a wall plug back here. There, I'll bring the viewers and show everyone. So this is a pretty big looking screen. I've got the 115 volt outlet, or 120 volt, and then 2 USB-Cs. There's also 2 slide out cup holders right there. Boom. Yeah, nice door card with some door pocket space, and this is fine. It's nothing crazy. I'm really struggling with the $80,000 base price.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, this is like a daily car. It's no road tripper.
No.
But for 80 grand, it's like, then you buy the road tripper and get the Gravity.
let me take a look at this window sticker to see exactly what this one is priced at. This is $82,500. It has $3,700 worth of options, so captain's chairs. Hold on one second. California emissions, $500? They're charging you for California emissions requirements?
But it's an EV.
That can't be right. Vistic Sport, radiant red with jet black interior. What?
So you have to at least negotiate 500 off.
Why are they charging you for emissions on a? So the base price is $77,800, and I think it's like $500 less if you don't get the Sport, which is just black trim. Get the Sport, looks nice. All right, so to start it, Tijmen, foot on the brake, fires up. That's different than the Lyriq, which has a start button.
Huh.
And it's got the seat adjustments here, which is nice. So heated and cooling. Wow, the seat goes pretty low. Steering wheel does not come out far enough, just like every other GM product. And it's got V mode, so it's got the spicy stuff. It's got Super Cruise. Yeah, this is actually pretty nice. Now that it's on, actually, if you want to hop in on this side, Tijmen, I'll let you in here. I'll bump over to the others. Let's take a look at what that rear screen can do. So very similar to the Escalade, where we have eco climate, we can sync everything. We've got third row, so 3-zone climate. How about that?
That's pretty good.
That's nice, dude. And temperature adjustment for there as well. We've also got, vent adjustments, and you can choose your ambient lighting style. That's cool.
Yeah.
So this is a whole menu just for choosing your ambient lighting and all of the different styles that you want. Change style. Modes. Yeah, okay. So that's the only thing here. No YouTube, nothing like that. But maybe in China they'll have a separate option with more media in there. I feel like that's important.
Yeah, I would say hopefully that can be over-the-air adjusted, but it needs YouTube or something.
Yeah, Jordan's ready to kill himself with this GM Bing.
Me too.
Okay, let's go up front and check it out. All right, and the first thing I'm going to do is open up this shade.
Wow, that is slow.
That is really slow. But we have like a pretty big boy AKG sound system in this thing. We're going to try that out.
So that makes it worth the slow.
The sound system in the Escalade was amazing. I heard the optic sound system was amazing.
Yeah, let's hope this is amazing.
Let's hope this is amazing. First of all, I love the Cadillac steering wheel. I don't understand why this isn't smooth grain leather if this is smooth grain.
Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, maybe if you spec a higher trim, but again, it's $80,000. That should match that. Because every other piece of material in here, oh no, actually it is not all super smooth grain.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
it's
up with
got
that?
a little texture to it, but
Yeah.
not the same as the airbag.
Right, this looks great. That doesn't look great. You've got the Super Cruise function, which is perfect for highway cruising, but even some B roads now have it. Like the road up to Laramie, 287, 286, College Ave, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's got Super Cruise, but I hate that it's a pre-map lock system. We'll talk more about that as we drive it. Beautiful display here, Tijmen. This is really nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't really like the emptiness after as your driver display in the corners.
Oh, you mean like over here?
And on the right side.
Yeah.
It's kind of ugly, but other than that, it looks very nice.
Let's see how route planning works. We know this is Google Nav built in, so it should be really snappy and a pretty good system. So there we go. This is really interesting. It says for whatever it was, there was like 20 minutes of the trip that wasn't Super Cruise enabled, but for everything else, it gave a time of how much of it's Super Cruise. So 5 charging stops, 20 minutes, 40 minutes. That's what I'm talking about with the charging performance. Just not great. 20 minutes, 40 minutes again. We're kind of past the era of more than 30-minute charge stops.
Yeah, I think most should be about 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes. It's 2025. Let's get with the program, people. And at least it's got route planning with automatic conditioning. And some other stuff. I don't believe you can set your state of charge on arrival to charging stations. I think you can do it for the end of trip function, but what's nice about this is you can have Waze built in, you can have Spotify built in, you can have a better route planner built in. So even though it doesn't support Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I'm actually okay with that because
you can download all the apps you actually use.
Yeah, you've got the Play Store, which I'm not signed in on this car, but you can download everything on here. Really, really nice functions, actually. This screen in general seems a bit dim to me, Tijmen. I don't know if you're getting that vibe as well.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, from back here, it looks okay. On camera, it looks pretty bright. But again, it's doesn't look like you can adjust it much, and it still has the blue theme.
Right. Yep. So you can't do. There's. It's the same. We've done videos on this type of software many times. Actually, in fact, we'll leave linked in the description. Don't forget to put the link. We'll leave linked in the description my dad's full tour of the Chevy software, which is very similar to the overall functionality of this. This is a little bit different styling, but I like how you can go. Max acceleration, tour on the motor sound, squishy suspension, good brake feel in sport, and steering in tour. That's probably how I would keep it set up. Sometimes with the sort of brake-by-wire situation, I don't know if they use an iBooster or what they use, but sometimes Sport does make the brakes feel a bit too touchy. This is equipped with the standard brakes. The optional brake upgrade it goes to like just under 400 millimeters to just over 400 millimeters and adds 2 pistons. So you get a 6-piston front Brembo. With the big boy brakes, this is a 4-piston, a little bit smaller, but the rears are identical, trim to trim. But I don't think anyone's driving these in a way where you need more brakes.
Besides you, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, even this, I'm going to guess it has super slow steering.
Yep.
And it's not going to be that engaging. It's going to feel really heavy. We should check the vehicle weight, by the way, before we go. So that's drive modes. We've got, my Cadillac, which probably isn't going to load because this car's not logged into anything. There we go. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Accept, continue. Owner center, yeah. Skip. This is just like, do you need service? And it'll do like remote service stuff, which is nice to have.
Yeah.
Ambient lighting, and then your charging settings. I'll show you guys that in a second. If we go over here to controls, this is where you have your main functions, auto high beams. No matrix function in the US for this, but maybe for other markets coming soon. You have your one pedal driving functions, your, we'll put that to high before we drive it. You've got traction control, which you can go into and actually turn ESC off.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, very important to know this for any GM product. If it's not a performance GM product, it will revert to ESC back on, traction control off at like 30 miles an hour, which is the most important bit of information for any Vistic potential customer. With all that said, I think we're pretty familiar with those things. If I come over here to the wheel, I've got a bunch of things that can adjust this screen over here. So I can go, hold on, how do I do this again, Tijmen? Is it this button? No, gosh. How do I change this? What? Oh man, it's been a while since I've driven I just had Escalade, didn't I? And we had that down pretty damn good. Oh, I remember. It's not a button on the wheel. It's over here. So you can actually go to your energy gauge, you can go to your driver assistance gauge, or clean. This one, and you've got like other gauges. One thing I'm noticing, Tijmen?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing state of charge anywhere.
Oh.
So it gives you this bar, but I'm not seeing a listed, even if I go to the energy menu.
It says miles.
Yeah, it says miles.
Do you have to do it in the center display?
I don't believe that shows you either, which this could suffer from the same problem as the Lyriq, which means it doesn't show you state of charge. See, it says charge to 80%, but it doesn't tell me what I'm at right now. What else do we have? Nothing really. This is where you can do manual preconditioning and stuff like that. If I ask it, then it should tell me, which means I need to find the voice control button right here. What is my current state of charge?
For that, you'll need to sign in.
Oh, I need to be logged in to know my state of charge.
That's unfortunate.
Yep, so that hasn't changed. That hasn't improved. And I think that's insane. Certain GM products tell you state of charge written. Certain don't. And this is one of them that doesn't. But I will tell you, Tijmen, it looks like we're at like 65%.
Yeah, I'd say about that.
And you can get Car Scanner and like log in and do all the nerd stuff, of course. But it's only showing 189 miles. It's not good.
Nope.
Not good. I mean, it's no gravity, which again, isn't that much more money.
But the wait list will be a lot longer.
Yeah, the wait list for gravity at the moment. And you've also got this control thing, which I think is actually more annoying to use than the touch screen to go through.
I don't understand the point of having both.
Yeah.
Besides keeping your screen clean.
Yeah. Don't know. It's there. It's all plasticky, but I think it's nice. It's fine. And then you've got your climate controls here, which I think this should have been physical buttons and not a screen.
Yep.
Personally. I think if you're going to do a screen, just put one big screen here with all functions. Don't separate it out. And then this is kind of like what Audi does with their older cars. And I think you know, some older people may have issues with this rather than touch buttons, or rather than just having one big screen with big font right here. That would have been great to control everything. So I'm not particularly a fan of this, but it is nice how you can go into and choose your massage functions. You know, so they have roll, knead, wave, relief, glide. Let's go for the glide, intensity on maximum. And then you can also adjust your seating position in here and save your memory stuff. All pretty normal, all pretty fine. We've got a fairly fairly deep but narrow center console right there, USB-C ports. Thankfully, no USB-A around here, Tijmen. And a nice little storage area in front of the screen. Glove box check.
Does it have a physical button?
How do we open the glove box in the Vistiq?
In setting controls. Oh.
On the screen. See, that's weird. I don't know. Like, they have so much more room to make these buttons more prevalent.
Yep.
But we've got a wheel lock kit and a Sirius XM kit. Normal size glove box, nice air vents here. So I do think the air management, which General Motors always has the best air conditioning, carries through here, which is nice. We have an interior camera, which I'm sure we can, wow, it's hot to the touch.
Ooh.
Figure out what that's used for. We have our physical hazard buttons up here on the roof, and we've got the cool rearview mirror that I love that they do this. And we've got no head-up display in this one, but we do have the forward collision warning that blasts up on the windshield. With all that said, Tijmen, I think we need to go drive this thing.
Let's do it.
Let's go take it for a rip. I want to try the sound system more than anything. So we'll get Spotify loaded up. Actually, this also supports Dolby, so maybe we need to download Tidal. But I don't want to go that low. I think we'll just do Spotify and see how this thing sounds. Is there any other interesting things I can find on here? So it's 4-year, 50,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty, 8-year, 100,000 mile for the powertrain and battery. This one only has the 11 kilowatt charging. It comes with headlamps, 7 USB ports, 5-zone intelligent climate control, AKG Studio 23 speaker sound system with Dolby Atmos, and some of the safety stuff. Oh, Tijmen. California emissions requirements, $500. California emissions standard sport credit, negative $500. So they took it off.
Huh.
Why did they have to write that on there anyway? And what is the sport credit?
So if you get the sport trim, which is $500, you get it for free, but then you pay the California emissions.
Is there a luxury credit for the standard one? That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, built in Spring Hill, Tennessee. The electric motors are from China, and the transmission electric drive unit is from Korea.
Nice.
So I wonder what that means for tariffs if the motors are coming from China. That could be interesting. 18% China content, 17% Korea content, only 43% US Canadian parts content in this vehicle, which is becoming a bigger issue these days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now prices are what they are, but I'm curious to see how that is affected.
In a month or two, is it going to be 65% US Canadian part content?
Right. They may start changing up their supply chain a little bit. I don't know 100%, but we'll see. Yeah, so let's go for a cruise. Can't wait to try this thing out. I think I'm going to keep it in the gauge menu, and we're going to go to the sport gauge or the tour gauge. What is the difference?
Bigger.
Yeah, this is not good gauges. They need to redo this. Let's go.
Nice car.
Yeah, not mine, but maybe. All right, so the Subaru guy likes the Vistic. Is it hard to remember the Cadillac names?
Yes.
So Jordan says it spells love. Lyric, Optic, Vistic, Escalade, Ick. But then there's also Celestic. And then there's combustion ones. So it's got, oh my God, dude. It's almost 4 turns locked to lock.
Oh my God, that is terrible.
That is the GM BS that I hate so much. How cool is it that we get to drive a car for the first time in town?
Yeah, that's kind of nice and refreshing.
This is so nice. Normally we got to travel somewhere, and I am so glad that the dealers got this first because we don't have to go anywhere to drive this car.
Right.
We still might go, but we'll send Jordan.
Yep.
So I've got a couple things going on here, first of all. Just like every other General Motors product that you and I have driven so many times, we have a dual motor powertrain in this one with V mode, which we'll try out later. We also have one pedal driving set to high. On top of that, I have a regen paddle on the steering wheel, which is not on-off like it is in some GM products. Look how much lock I have to put in to make this thing turn. It's actually a rheostat, so I can squeeze on more
that is
regen.
nice, yeah.
So you can actually drive it with one pedal driving off. Some people don't like it. And regardless of how you have it, even if you touch the brake pedal or use the paddle, you'll always get the same efficiency essentially, because the brake pedal is blended, where when you touch that, it'll add regen. If you grab the steering wheel paddle, it'll add regen. And yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's the way to do it. First of all, the initial impression of getting this thing on the road, it feels bigger than it looks on the outside, Tijmen.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's probably because we had it parked next to the Escalade, which is massive. This is about the size you would expect for a 3-row electric SUV. This is EV9 size, EX90 size, all that stuff. In fact, I think we should go by the Volvo dealer.
Yep, I agree.
If they have an EX90, I would like to see these side by side, because to me, they're direct competitors, sort of luxury focused, this size category. I think we go to the left. This thing feels really great. Nice ride. I've got it in my mode with comfort damper. This one does not have air suspension, but it does have semi-active dampers. It's set to comfort mode. I love the view, love the steering wheel. Seating position's a little bit awkward because the wheel doesn't come out far enough for me. So I need the wheel like here so I can back up a bit.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I'm sitting close. EV9 also suffers from this massively, which is a real problem. But in general, until we get all the testing done on this car, I mean, I really think the driving impressions aren't the most important. I just want to make sure for the viewers, it's going to be quiet enough, comfortable enough, and not fall apart if you drive it hard, which is kind of the Cadillac thing. Cadillac's gone for the sporting edge, but it still needs to retain comfort. Tijmen, we asked them about optic sales. Mm-hmm. And they said they've only sold optics really to old people so far, and they've been flying off the shelves.
Right.
They're like, they can't keep optics in inventory, which is totally against the Cadillac target market. It's beeping at us for parking sensors. No one's around us. So there's still some bugs. But that's kind of interesting because the target market for the optic was like a young enthusiast buyer. Only old people are buying them.
Yep.
And here, I don't know what the target market is for this car, but I would imagine it's more geared towards families, and this actually feels like families will buy this car.
Yeah, I could see it. I think still maybe like a older family.
Yeah, like grandparents that got to make room for the grandkids type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be perfect for that. So let's go swing by the Volvo dealer. I think, we'll do all the hardcore driving later. I do want to get it on the highway for a couple exits and see how it drives. And everyone tells me it's pretty fast as well, but we've got heated steering wheel, heated and cooled seats, massage seats, comfortable. We'll get the sound system dialed in, but the initial impression is it feels like a Lyriq, but actually kind of different, even though it's on the same wheelbase. This feels more comfortable than I remember from the Lyriq. And overall, just like, it's got the right vibe to it, which is super relaxed. So that's without V mode. Let's just give it one, I don't want to go too crazy, but just one quick hit. Yeah, I mean...
It feels fast.
Feels fast, feels fine, feels big.
Yeah.
And, we'll get into all that later on, but off to Volvo we go. And we have come over to our friends at Pedersen Volvo here in Fort Collins, and they were super cool to pull this EX90 up so we could park them next to each other. The guys here also loved it too because they got to check out the Vistic, so a little competitive research. And Tijmen, $2,000 difference between these two cars.
Which is pretty good. They seem to be about the exact same size too.
Very similar in size. Let's show everyone the interior of the Volvo because I really think this should be a strong consideration. Charging performance alone is a little bit better on this style, dude. I think this looks so cool on the inside. It's understated, so nice. It's Swedish. Also got a fantastic sound system. This one's not optioned with it, but you can get the Bowers and Wilkins. The price does go up, but you can also go up on price in the other car too.
Right.
So,
a lot more than the Cadillac.
Also, I think the rear door doesn't open far enough on this.
Yep, it's about the exact same.
Yeah, it really does look that way. I mean, it's just a totally different vibe, totally different design. This is much more Swedish minimalist. And I don't know, dude, I love the EX90. I think this is such a cool car. I think technically it's still pretty old school, especially when you look at what other Geely brands are doing, like Zeekr and even Lotus with their Electras. Like, this should have better charging performance. But in terms of just offering a competitive vehicle to this, this needs to be on the short list without question.
For sure.
So I'm glad we were able to come by and see almost identical space, very similar. The third row in this is even more usable, actually. And at initial glance, this is more athletic, just feels more fun. There's some things I don't like about this car, and I think it's worth noting, Tijmen, that these are pretty buggy still.
Huh.
They have not sorted out the software on EX90s. Even a little rattle there when I closed the door. I think both will have pros and cons, of course. However, here you have a direct competitor. There's many, of course. There's Kia EV9 and others. Let us know if you think we should shoot a full comparison of these two. I would love to do that, actually. And yeah, we'll leave you now. But there you have EX90 and Vistic, identically priced, identically sized, very similar battery capacity. That's a little bit bigger with a little bit better charging. This maybe is a little bit less buggy. It's surprising to say a GM vehicle having more stable software. And, you know, just totally different characters. This is much more luxury, American luxury in your face, super slow steering, very squishy suspension. This is actually a bit more athletic, a little bit more fun to drive, really pretty fun steering, actually. And overall, my choice would be the Volvo.
I think
Tijmen?
so too, except for the stupid LiDAR thing on the roof.
You don't like the LiDAR on the roof?
No, it's so ugly.
Okay, got it. I actually think the Vistic looks great.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so there you have it. Just not a comparison, but a little fun thing to swing by. We need to go do the driving review of this now, so let's go drive it. Tijmen, you join us leaving the Volvo dealer now, and we are off to go see how the Vistic handles the highway cruising.
How do you think it's going to do?
I think it's going to be supremely comfortable.
Let's hope.
I think I'm already getting the impression that it's pretty squishy. The ventilation's pretty good because we just drove past a construction zone where they were paving, and we didn't smell anything after we closed the sunroof.
Right, after.
Yeah, sunroof open, filled the cabin with the pavement smoke, closed it, and it cleared everything out. That was
pretty quickly.
Very impressive air management, actually. And that's what GM always gets right. They get great HVAC and stuff. We also had a chance to test the sound system.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Very good. I wouldn't say it's EX90 Bowers & Wilkins good, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, for GM, it's very good.
This is the best equalizer setting for anyone wondering, by the way. Maximum bass. It's got a lot of power.
To Young Dolph.
Yeah, and Young Dolph. There you go. R.I.P. Basically, in terms of just like having a big American Luxo thing, which Cadillac's been offering for their stuff, having a good sound system, and I think a much more reasonable size and price than Escalade. You get a really nice experience for low-speed cruising. Whatever updates that General Motors have done to the electric motors, again, this is a front permanent magnet, rear induction as far as I remember. Same drivetrain as the Blazer SS.
Yep.
615 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
We got that exact one right there. It's just way smoother with one-pedal driving than it has been in the years past.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one driving,
Yeah.
but it seems very good.
GM stuff used to be clunky, especially going like drive to reverse, you'd feel some notchiness.
Yeah.
That's all smoothed out now. So got to give them props for, you know, dialing in that fine tuning. That's what we were really looking for from them. And they really seem to be getting there. Even on the lease prices, this is about $1,000 a month.
Right.
Currently, because it just went on sale. There's no big programs. This is basically taxes and fees out of pocket, $1,000 a month is what we're hearing.
Yeah, wait 3 months and it'll be $500.
They won't be that cheap, but it'll be better. And that's the case with any new car launch. They never have incentivized lease deals. All right, well, we're picking up the pace right now. We're at about 50 miles an hour cruising, dead silent.
Yeah.
Super impressive noise in here. We're about to jump on the highway. We're going to go up to the hub, look at it, finish up the video over at the hub, and finalize it. But I do kind of like the American land yacht driving experience on these straight roads. Floating like this, just super
Yeah, you
nice.
kind of feel like you own the road, which is super nice.
Absolutely. But you go into like the city and you're just working the wheel a million degrees because it has the slowest ratio. What GM really needs is, if they're not going to go steer by wire, they need a variable ratio steering, because this is ridiculous. It is really annoying to drive these things. Like, I get it for Silverado and Hummer because those are big vehicles.
Yeah, but you're going to put the semi-truck
Yeah, the knob. That's what this needs. All right, well, I'm going to go V mode for the highway on-ramp. We'll send it on there, and let's see how that goes. All right, we are first in line to turn. We got everything dinging at us right now. We're going to go vehicle. We're going to go to, gosh, I can't remember how do you get to the traction control off button?
You were just there.
Controls. see more controls, drive, traction control, off.
Holy cow, that is complicated.
Holy moly. Every Vistic owner is, of course, interested in this. Going into race position, I have V mode on, sport mode on, so everything's dialed up.
Hold on tight.
Are we going to just be full sideways through the intersection?
Nope.
No, because we're on
Understeer.
public roads, we will never do anything crazy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I need the steering wheel come out. Here we go. Nice power off the line, dude. Dude, power on rotation. It power on rotated. And man, it gets up to speed pretty quick. Doesn't feel fast. Like the numbers and the power and the 0 to 60 suggest that it's faster than it feels.
Yep. It just feels heavy.
Yeah.
The Blazer felt the same way. It just, the 3.4 in the Blazer is impressive, but it's heavy.
See how I was saying it does this at speed? We'll put everything back on. Will we be able to super cruise here, Tijmen?
No.
No, turn on adaptive cruise control. Why, distraction. So that's dinging at me because I'm not looking. But you got a million buttons for me to figure out.
You turned it off, did you not?
I don't know. Oh yeah,
There
now
we
it's on. But it's not on here.
Well, it's not green yet. It just shows.
Yeah, it's got this thing. But I think it's because this road's not pre-mapped. This is what we're talking about. No driver assistance, like Rivian doesn't work here, for example.
That just does not make any sense to me.
All right, now I've got to go back to the drive modes, Tijmen, so we can get this thing, drive modes, into comfort, tour mode, cruising mode.
You could feel the suspension change a tad. It's definitely smoother.
Definitely smoother. And adaptive cruise control is working well. We know Super Cruise works pretty well on highways. It's just they need to be pre-mapped, which is annoying that where we live is not. And that's a real limitation of systems like this. Now it's green here, and Super Cruise is green here. Oh, never mind. It says take control, hands-free driving, unavailable, no road information. Welcome to Colorado. This is what we deal with, and why pre-mapped lane centering sucks ass.
Technical
GM,
term.
stop doing it. At least Ford reverts to lane centering, which I think this is doing. Right? Because the green bars, this is the first time we're seeing lane centering without Super Cruise?
I think so. I've never seen it without the other.
Is that what's happening now? Because it's now construction zone detected, whatever, but now it's on Super Cruise. So did they fix everything, Tijmen?
I mean, it looked like it.
It does lane centering without pre-mapped.
Or is it lane keep assist?
Well, no, because it was actively steering. Normally it would ping pong. See, we're here. Hands-free driving's unavailable, but we've got this icon. Let's go back to layout, assist menu. It's doing lane centering. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Does it do lane changes in this mode? The turn signals, by the way, are so far apart. Apply light steering force. Yes! It's the first GM vehicle we've ever driven that does lane centering without Super Cruise and without pre-mapped roads.
About time.
Hallelujah! Oh, you can buy this thing now. Yeah, you do this, just put a little torque in. Holy smokes, this is a day I've been waiting for 7 years. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. All right, so now I've taken over. We have to get over. This Volkswagen's in quite the hurry. We need to see if this works on other roads now. Woohoo! Anyway, really quiet on the highway, very comfortable. Good highway cruiser. Dude, this now, lane centering without pre-mapped. I mean, I didn't like how it was coming in and out and it was dinging at us, but we're making progress. We're following this thing over here. Holding everyone up.
Walter White.
Yep, exactly. So we'll try the road by the hub and see if it will do lane centering there. Look at how much steering lock, by the way, you have to go in. That's hilarious. And I have to say, getting on the highway, I was pretty impressed with the overall dynamics.
Yeah, it seemed fine.
That was surprisingly powerful in the rear axle to neutralize everything. It's not like a drift machine, you can't drive it full off or anything, but I was impressed. Also, huge amount of regen off throttle. I cannot believe we just experienced lane centering without Super Cruise in a General Motors product. This deserves a whole episode on Out of Spec Bits. Subscribe to Out of Spec Bits if you're not, by the way. Okay, perfect opportunity to test this. I'm going to hit resume, and I'm going to see if we get lane centering now. It might just do it on highways. You can see it's white, which means it's not doing anything. So any normal car would still do lane centering here as we go by the hub. And I'm not seeing it do any lane centering, Tijmen.
That's unfortunate.
Hands-on centering.
But not active.
Wait, hands-on centering on,
But not active.
but not active. Well, how do you make it active? This is the best day in 2025. Oh, and it is doing it. No way! Lane centering without Super Cruise in a General Motors product. Yeah, I get it. Touch the wheel. They've just gone to the top. Absolutely incredible. All right, just to finish up the driving impressions, Tijmen. Surprisingly spicy on paper, at least.
On paper.
It doesn't really feel that engaging to drive at all.
I didn't expect it to be. This suspension should have came on the SS as well, but they're like, oh, you have to buy a Cadillac for that.
For the adaptive damper.
Yeah.
This is a nice suspension.
Yeah. But I mean, it just feels heavy. It's a boat.
Do you think it's got launch mode?
Yeah, probably.
There's only one way to find out. We're in V.
Yeah.
We're in V. Oh, we're in Tour. Let's try Sport. Okay. V, Sport, everything. Left foot hard on brake, floor it with the right. Doesn't. Oh, something's buzzing. Oh, it does have a launch.
Yep, it has launch mode.
And no torque steer.
Nice.
So they fixed torque steer. They fixed the lane centering. They got launch mode.
Yeah.
Vistic.
Buy it now.
This is awesome. Let's just try braking performance real quick. Oh my God, it's so heavy.
Yeah, so maybe the 6 pistons are worth it.
Well, I mean, that's just tire limitation. Brake pedal feels good. Same brake by wire, clicking away, ABS feel. Oh my gosh, this is the best day ever. Forgive me for being so enthused with GM hands-on lane centering on. That's great. Tijmen, I'd also like to show you the turning radius of the Cadillac Vistiq as we've reached the parking lot. Not bad, dude.
Yeah, it seems all right.
But let me just show the viewers this. From lock to lock.
Yep. Oh my God.
Let me just make a 3-point turn, okay? Go this way.
Jesus.
Oh wait, sorry, I went the wrong way. Let's go this way again. You know, in that stupid ass trash can Cybertruck, I just go like this. The future versus the past. That's all I'm saying. Well, Tijmen, we have reached the end of our Vistic first drive review. It's sort of my first time going on a tour with one. Jordan, of course, shot the tour on the pre-production one, and of course, going for a drive. And I have to say, Tijmen, I came in with expectations that I thought it would just be like Lyric with a little bit extra sheet metal, when in reality, it actually drives amazing. They've totally fixed a lot of my small issues with the over-the-air software updates. We haven't had a single glitch with this vehicle. It's fairly fast. It's faster than normal Lyric. It's Lyric V speed, and the launch was hard. And I think the space is right. Like, I really think this is a fantastic 3-row electric SUV for so many people. There is an asterisk, and I wish there wasn't one. The battery's a little bit too small.
Right.
I mean, I think it's fine for most people. If it's going to have this size battery, it at least needs faster charging, and the charging performance is, let's just say it's abysmal. Under 200 kilowatt peak. That's not acceptable for an $80,000 to $100,000 luxury SUV. There's nothing luxurious about sitting at a charger for 45 minutes. Seats are great, massage great, sound system bumps. Everything's good here. Lane centering on non-pre-mapped roads is a fantastic addition to the General Motors lineup. I like how much standard equipment there is in this car as well. I really don't think there's much of a need to spec up for a higher trim. The only thing that would make kind of a difference to the city driving time in would be as if we could get the rear steer.
Yep, 100% agree.
That would just mean less steering input on the front axle. So I think that would be worth spending an extra few $1,000s for. Unfortunately, you got to spend big money to get the rear steer. So I like how it's packaged. I like the design. I like the space. And overall, it's a car that hasn't been on my mind very much. It's not something we've been talking about. It's sort of flown under the radar. And here it is coming in at a pretty fantastic package. Just need to see General Motors update the electrical systems a little bit. We just want a little bit higher voltage, a little bit faster charging. And my final thought is this should definitely be on the short list, on the shopping list, if you're looking for an electric 3-row. Tijmen, would you agree after our time today?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good deal, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's definitely nicer than EV9. It's priced higher, but it feels nicer. EX90, we actually shot a comparison on our Out of Spec Bits channel. You and I both agree we would take the EX90 over
Yeah,
this.
but it's a pretty good comparison between the two.
Absolutely. They were both pros and cons on either, and it's important to mention this was bigger on the inside.
Yep.
So that's a real key driving factor here. So I gotta say, it's a car we didn't think about. It's a car I'm excited about. We should do more with this for sure. Cadillac, if you're watching, stop sending cars to dealers before the press launches. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
To like people. I don't know how they expect people to go and buy a car without having any way to research it independently. And it's a good car. They shouldn't hide it. So that's my request. And thanks so much for watching this Out of Spec Reviews video. See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.